What's going on, YouTube and ads? Welcome to Lords of the Long Box. Happy Wednesday to you. Sorry. Say happy new comic book day to you.
Happy no
but hey,
comic
man,
book
to help you out through your rough new comic book day, man, the Lords are here with you, and we have part 2 of our DCEU long-term spec list. So you know how we like to start it, boys and girls.
Bust it. Shake and bake and pull it back.
Oh my God.
Hold on and get some, boys.
Oops. Yeah, sorry, man. I was medicating. What up, buddy people? Welcome to Lords of the Long Box. This is a Mikey Sutton long-term spec exclusive. This is part 2 of the DCEU long-term spec list. We didn't want to put them all on last week's show, but if you haven't checked out part 1, go check it out. We dropped it last Wednesday, man. Punchline is on there. So yes, Punchline is coming to DCEU, and we got some other big ones on here, some odd ones on here. But before we get into it, speaking of big ones, I got my man Otto from the Grotto. Say what's up.
What's up, everybody? Everybody got to notice it's Red Shirt Wednesday, so let's keep it going, man. Even Ryan, I got the Lords out, but he's got that sriracha kicking it. That sriracha,
spicy baby.
Yeah,
on the Lords is a good thing. On Star Trek, we'd all be dead. And speaking of which, Dark Side Jedi, say what's good to the people.
What's
Ryan,
good, everybody? Welcome to Wednesday night. No comic books, but you got some comic vibes hanging out with us tonight. We got a great list. I'm really excited about this. We got some really good ones.
Yeah, let's get right to it, boys and girls. Let's just talk about our sponsors. Our show is sponsored by KRScomics.com. Go to KRScomics.com. Use discount code of LOTLB to get 15% off any KRS Comics exclusives, including those beautiful books you see right there. They just had a mystery box that they did $150, and they threw in all kinds of goodies, and it's sold out in like, I don't even know how long.
By the time I sent a picture to a group chat, it had sold out already.
Wow.
And I was going to tell us all to go buy it, but that just shows you, because their mystery box isn't full of a random 12th issue from some 90s series. They're all variants, all exclusives. There's some slabs in there. I wish we could have gotten done a live unboxing, but go support KRScomics.com and you use discount code of LOTLB to get 15% off any of the KRS Comics exclusives. They still got some good stuff in there, so make sure you support them. Also, this show is sponsored by our friends at the GeekySwagShop.com. Go to GeekySwagShop.com, use discount code of LOTLB to get 15% off anything in the Geeky Swag Shop, including NY Warrior shirts I just got, including Lords of the Long Box shirts, but not the red ones, though. These are specific variants just for members of the Long Box live show, but you can get blue ones, black ones, white ones, and all that good stuff. Also, the show is sponsored by our friends over at I'm sorry, as I try to find this, I should have had Rocket Comics. Go over to our friends Rocket Comics and get 20% off your pressing order. It'd be one book, it'd be 20 books. Get 20% off your first order, and then when you come back as a returning customer, get 10% off. They are still facilitating as much as they can, trying to submit to CGC for you. Signatures right now are kind of slow, obviously, with the way things are going on right now. And you may want to hit up Rocket and talk to him first to see what his opinions are on what's going to happen with CGC. The governor of Florida finally put a shelter-in-place order for the state of Florida. Can you believe that? Up to now, they haven't had it, and they're like the 5th leading state in and COVID-19 cases. So. And here's the kicker. He says starting Friday, so not even starting immediately.
Yeah,
so
really.
CDC has still been working, but the shelter in place may affect that. So hit up Rocket Comics and talk to them, or call CGC to see how they're going to do it. If you're thinking about sending something out, I would definitely call them to find out what's going on, or else your book could end up in limbo, man, because right now it's everything is on hold, man. California, we're finally starting to flatten the curve out a little bit, but New York, New Jersey, Connecticut, the whole tri-state area, man, New Orleans right now is really bad too, you know. And if you think about it, Florida is 5th largest right now, because you know why? Spring break, they had all those kids running amok, and in New Orleans because of Mardi Gras. So if you think how far back Mardi Gras is, and now it's just it stays in your system for 2 weeks. Let's say at the 10th day in, you give it to somebody else. Their 10th day in, they give it to somebody else. That's how it extends. So serious stuff, folks. Just shelter in place, watch Lord of the Long Box, and we'll give you virus-free entertainment. We tried to stay coronavirus-free yesterday. I think
We did a good job. We did a good job, and I think everybody got the hint.
All right, there are some people that, hey, there's something happened, but the rest of y'all been, you guys are Lord. You guys know what time it is. You guys know we ain't fucking around with no coronavirus book. You know what I mean? So let's get right to it. This is a long-term spec list for characters that DC and WB have reserved for the big screen. If in the past you followed us, the long-term spec lists have hit. Some of them haven't. Some have been right dead on the spot. Basically, what it is the studios have put these characters on reserve so they can use them for. Sometimes it's for HBO Go. In the past, we did one that Berlanti said, "Hey, I'm going to use these characters, so reserve them so that the movies don't use it." But typically, the studios have first say on things that hit the big screen. Like if Feige puts a hold on something, that's it. But Feige is all God now. Whatever he does, he wants to do. Next week, we're going to have a Marvel long-term spec for you. And this one is going to be exciting because we haven't had Marvel news in a while. So this doesn't necessarily mean these characters are going to get their own solo films. It could, but more, it can be part of a team. It could be part of a solo series. It could be part of just a guest appearance. So we get these early in advance. They are not even attached to anything yet. We just know that they want to use these characters. So it's a fun list to have. And it makes your collecting a bit more fun, right? When you have these kind of books that you can say, hey, I saw this has happened. As long as you're not, overspending beyond your means, then you'll be okay. So, all right, Ryan, I'll let you introduce the subject. Otto, you run the characters, and then you'll also do the pricing on the second slide. How's that sound? Since we're down,
sounds good.
We're down Zach and Justin, who I think are playing video games with each other.
I think so. They're holding hands.
Yeah, right there. They're having their secret coup. They're sitting around talking.
All right, let's go.
So if you're a fan of the Lords of the Long Box over the summer, you may have seen an episode where we talked about this guy a little bit. The first on the list is Shay the Changing Man. This is a pretty cool book, I think. What do you think, Tim?
Yeah. No, this is a really cool book, you guys. And you guys know that myself and Tim were Ditko purists. And when General TiVo sends out his information, it says, go out in a galaxy and find this information. When I went and started looking this information up, it was pretty easy to find. And it's a Ditko book. And I'm a Ditko purist. So he's the cover artist. He's the penciler. He does the inker. And this was his time when he went over there. He did do some of the writing with Michael Fleischer, and he's creating his own world here. And the synopsis is escape to battleground Earth. He's a secret agent in the Metazone, a dimension near Earth. You can see the vest he has on is where he generates his powers from, and just a very cool 70s book by the great.
And this is the second time we talked about this. We had this on a long-term spec list before, so when things get on our radar twice, I really think it's going to happen.
Right, because I think this is like a whole world now. You know what I mean? You can do so much when you have the introduction of worlds, which will hint to what we're talking about later. But just a really cool Ditko book.
All right, what kind of sales data are we looking at this, Otto?
All right, what do we got? Where's the slide?
It's on the screen in StreamYard, dude.
Oh, okay, you got it. All right. So we're looking at
where are you looking anyway?
I was actually watching on YouTube, you guys. My apologies.
No, there's a delay.
Yeah, I know. So the 9.8, you're going for $150, and then and that happened in September of 2019, and then for the 9.6, it's a huge drop, you guys. It goes down to $55. So this is that gray area where we say where do you want the $100 9.8, but for a 9.8 at 150 at this point, you could probably get it for around there. I would definitely go after that. So those are your prices right there, and you can see that they are selling, but there's a significant drop between the 9.8 and the 9.6.
I got a sweet near mint copy at Bakersfield Comic-Con when I went there with my boy the Swolverine. Got it for like $5, man, because I was just going off because they didn't have any really big books there. So I was, there is a Lords of Long Box playlist that has all of our long-term specs on it, and I just used that list, and I went there and I grabbed like 30 books from there.
Nice. Good move.
So
all right, what's next?
Tim said that next week is the Marvel list, but so far we've had Steve Ditko, and next up Jack Kirby. Beautiful Dreamer is the character. I haven't heard of her
I have no idea who Beautiful Dreamer is.
But I'm assuming it's a forever Piapple.
Yeah, forever Piapple.
Plural.
Yeah. So the virus hit my spelling. So this is one of the forever people, and her name is Beautiful Dreamer, and this ties into all the kind of new world and the forever people stuff. And this is Jack
A fourth
Kirby
world.
leaving a fourth world, excuse me, Jack Kirby leaving Marvel and going over to DC and them saying, do whatever you want
and
create
creating
this
an
world.
entire universe.
Yeah.
It's
And I
amazing.
will say this will not be the first time you see this book on the list. So it's safe to say, go out and get this book. So
Well,
basically,
a lot of people may have gotten this book already for the Dark Side appearance,
Right.
But who knows?
yeah. So I mean, this is multiple spec because I think that Dark Side book that people have agreed that it's no longer forever people. That is the
No, I
first.
think it's the
Everybody is
Jimmy
Superman's.
Olsen.
The Jimmy Olsen book is where the market is decided, and we had some interesting stuff yesterday when we were talking about Punchline with Hella Risen 3 and Batman 89, and how it looks like the market is settled in for Hella Risen 3 as the first appearance of Punchline. So it's kind of interesting how those are things happening. And then I think the same thing is going to happen with the other book that we had yesterday with the difference appearance of Sabine Wren and all those things with number 1 and number 6. So it'd be curious next week. If you haven't checked it out, the cover price top 10 that we did yesterday, we have the top 10 selling back issues for the week, and we work that every week. Thank God that we worked out a deal with the good guys over at coverprice.com, because right now, I mean, the movie scoops, production, everything is coming to a halt. So it's back issue price markets will always be there. Even if there's no new comic books, people will still go out and buy back issues. And that's the good thing about eBay and everything. And if matter of fact, I think eBay sales are probably going to be going up the roof now that people can't go into their LCSs or Comic Cons or any of that stuff, right? So I'd be curious to see where this book is at now as far as pricing. And holy cow.
Look at that 9.8. Jesus.
So so we're looking at 211 total recorded sales, 150 raw copies, and 61 graded copies. It's a 58% trend going up. 9.8, man. I'm gonna tell you right now, it's hard to find book in a 9.8, man.
Especially that white cover.
Yeah, this is it's the range on a 9.8 goes from 3,800 to about 2,800.
Yeah,
like 3 copies. So the average on that, if this is from data we're pulling from Cover Price, so we don't call it GPA because GPA is specific to that website. But if you look at that, if you want to call it GPA, the average, if they figured it out, is 3,200. So the high is 38, the low is 28. If you see right in 9.6, 9.4 is a nice little sweet spot there. Really affordable if you look in the 9.0, 9.2 range. And
yeah, I'd be into this book around the 9.2.
Dark Side and the Forever People come onto the big screen, I think the Forever People have enough to be their own franchise. Similar to what Amanda DuVernay is doing with the New Gods, right? They're definitely going cosmic. So this is one of the kind of the backbones of it, and they got their right to use Jack Kirby as, as a impetus for what they want to do on the big screen. They can build out this huge cosmic universe that the Marvel has done already on the big screen and how they do in the comics. So up to this point, all we've really known is Green Lantern and, maybe the Steppenwolf, and that's it. But so far, nothing, and hopefully they can build to that. So, all right. I think this next book, everybody's either got a copy of it, except for me, because I sold mine.
I don't even own one.
What? So number 8 on the list is Deadman, Boston Brand. This is a must-have for any. Well, I guess not any, but for someone who likes DC dark stuff.
Yeah, no, this is Strange Adventures 205, Deadman, Carmen Infantino, 1967. This book you can see, all over the place when you do have it. I've never owned this book, you guys, so I'm guilty of this, and I feel bad as a comic book collector that this is one of the books I've never owned. So, really cool book, and a couple different characters, and the way they bring them in is pretty neat. And you can see that the great Carmen Infantino. So we've talked about Ditko, Kirby, and Infantino already in 3 books, and that just tells you where we're going with this. So just as far as the great legends that are creating this and sales data, you're looking at 321 recorded sales, no 9.8s, which is unbelievable. I see a 9.4, a 9.2.
I don't think so. That's pretty hard to get in. I mean, it's Silver Age book. I mean, it's pretty hard.
Yeah, I know. But look at the 9.4 average. So 9.4 average is $3,100. And then when you get down to a 9.2, you're at $3,100. 9.0 again, probably in my opinion. I got mine as a 7. I got mine as a 7.5. I think that's the sweet spot is in the VF area for this book, since it's a Silver Age book. You know what I mean? Yeah, I agree with you on that. I
agree.
With
the list that we compiled last week, it's starting to look like there's going to be a Justice League Dark movie. Our insider didn't come out and say, yo, Justice League Dark movie is coming. But just by looking at the characters that are being reserved, this is filling out because we had Zatanna last week, right? Yep. So and now we got Deadman, fill in a couple more, and you next thing you know, you got
Shade, like Kazotic said, Shade was in New 52 on the New 52 team. So we
pretty neat.
And then we've got one more or two more, I think, coming up. So
and what's next?
Next is another character from the Forever People run, Infinity Man. I've never heard of this guy either.
Yeah, there's a different couple of things on here, but on this spec list, sometimes it's easy to get, what the big copy is. But this is actually the first appearance of Infinity Man that's from the modern era. And this book is a ghost. I don't know if I've never seen this anywhere, anybody posting about it. But if you go to DC's pages, this is the first appearance of Infinity Man. And he's kind of got this kind of weird connection with Darkseid's brother and some other things. He's part of that whole group. There's another version of him that appeared in Forever People. I don't know if he was named. I mean, these characters are so obscure that this is a great book if you just go out and seek it somewhere. And if it's just, I don't know if you can seek it.
All the Apocalypse stuff is so much fun. The Orion, the Darkseid stuff. It's such a fun read.
There's definitely a theme here with where all these are going. And this book, nothing. You can get it for $4. You can get it for $4, like $1 over a cover price of $2.99. So this is one of those great little spec books that if you just see it, you know what, you're not going to be you're not going to be paying a lot. I'm pretty sure our live viewers right now can search YouTube at the same time you're watching the show and probably find out what's going on. That's a good thing about cover price is it's real-time data. They don't wait. It's not like updated every day. It's updated like every hour. So it'd be interesting if somebody actually buys one and the next time the data scrape happens, it's updated and, see what was bought. But you got to think. Kasotic says that print run, it must be small. You think? Yeah, I've never seen this book in my life.
Me either.
No, never.
We're in the New 52, so I mean that's a good thing about DC. A lot of times we get the spec list and we're like, man, these are golden age, silver age characters, but they rebooted themselves because they have to. I mean, say what you will about the R word reboot, right. But then when the character's been around for 60, 70 years, it doesn't really play well in modern times or especially for the movies. Even Marvel basically has to use their Ultimate Version characters for the most part. There's still some that are very true to the characters, but you can't have some goofy Silver Age character or even worse yet, a Golden Age goofy character just to pop up on the movies right now because people are like, man, audiences are fickle. There's still people that are purists, but sometimes you have to update it.
I think you could do it with Jay Garrick.
Yeah.
The Flash. I think you could do
it.
With him.
What's next?
So more DC Dark. Madame Xanadu is next up on the list. I'm really excited about this book.
Yeah, I hope you are because I don't know anything about it.
I've been specking on this book since 2015 about.
Really?
Yeah.
Doorway to Nightmare #1. That's unbelievable. I just want you guys to know when we talk about these characters and who's going to take what, Tim usually sets me up with names that I have a hard time with. So Madame Xanadu's easy, but Madame Xanadu's real name is Nimue Inwudu. Okay. And he's probably going to tell me I'm saying that wrong, but Nimue Inwudu, there you go. And just a mystical character who would fit in good with that. And this book came out. We're looking at, 1978, created by the great David Michelini. And I've never seen this book, so I don't know too much about it, but I definitely think that, we're talking mystic arts and stuff like that, which I think.
Well, what's interesting is she not necessarily a character of this book. She is the Elvira of this book. She's kind of like she's like Uatu in the What If comics.
Right.
She's kind of the host that kind of walks you through the macabre
gatekeeper sort of thing.
Exactly. Yeah. So what kind of sales data we look on this?
We're looking at $400 9.8. That's
not bad, actually. I'm surprised.
That's not bad, actually. That's actually a lot more than I expected. But you see the big drop from a 9.8. It's almost in half. Well, actually, more than a half. If you go to the average, you go from 400 on the average to there's only one sale though, guys. That's what we're generating that from. And then you go down to $148, and there was 7 of them, and then down to a 9.4 at 7.2, and then a 9.2 for $21. So anything less, forget about it. But that's what we're looking at. And there's 147 recorded sales. So, people are buying it. There is 198 out there. So if you can dig in that long box and you can find a couple copies, press them, and then they come back, you could be one of those people in that census for this book. So
yeah, and this is, like I said, a lot of these characters are golden and silver age that are really expensive. Like last week we did Hawkman and Hawkgirl,
right?
And it's kind of ridiculous to tell somebody to go spec on a $5,000 book, but the alternative is a $400 9.8 book that is probably more modern, that would fit the big screens better. You know what I'm saying? Because you're going to see a really good example of that later, because I had a choice of picking a book from 1940 or a book from 1980. So, all right, what's next, Ryan?
Another character off the Forever People list, Mark Moonrider.
Oh, I get this other one that I have. What the hell? All right, Mark Moonrider has been reserved, and Mark Moonrider is also one of the Forever People. I had no idea about this, but it was created by the great Jack Kirby for doing the Forever People book. And, most of these guys died. Sorry, there's a book called Death of the New Gods, and they got killed. So basically the Forever People got killed off, but doesn't necessarily mean they can't be brought back for the movies. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I literally know nothing about this character. The Forever People, I barely know anything about the Forever People. I have issue number 1. So I'll be curious to see, there's sales data since we already talked about it, but I'm doing different sales data as I go through these slides, and we don't have to talk about the same thing. Last recorded sales value is a raw for 150. Graded last sale was 189. Or typical sale on a raw averages about 123. So that's not bad at all. So last sales average on 8.5, 189. Like I said, this book is incredibly hard to find in a high grade. That's why you see a huge drop between like a 9.8, 9.6 down to like 9.0. It's because of the white cover that they use. If you could find one that says white pages, I'd be super impressed, because that thing is literally looks like it was. I pulled this off of DC's webpage and they don't even have a good copy of it. It already looks like it's 10 pages. You know what I'm saying? So,
right.
As you can see, we're getting mostly all the Forever People on this list. So you might as well just say all the Forever People. But here's the thing. I got this list, and it necessarily doesn't mean it's coming from a person that is from the comic book side of things, and they're just getting these names. And that's why it's interesting how they're like getting all these separate names. I just realized, wait a second, you're just naming off all the members of the Forever People. So it's like the Warner Brothers Insider is like, who are these people? All I was known as these characters have been reserved. So I think that's kind of neat, man. So what's next, Ryan?
Next up, we talked about this character back when The Rock was talking about bringing Earth 2 characters back. Atom Smasher.
Atom Smasher.
Right. Atom Smasher. Isn't that a great name? Like, that's just a great superhero name, Atom Smasher. And All-Star Squadron 25 is what it came out at. And it was written by the great Roy Thomas, and the art was done by Jerry Ordway, who, if the con season still happens, you guys can go out and meet Roy Thomas and Jerry Ordway. Maybe get this book double signed or find out some information about them, just so you know that those guys are touring. Just a neat, cool character from the All-Star Squadron book. And I really enjoyed these books. I thought they were cool characters, and I was reading this stuff off the rack. But for sales data, Tim, what do we have on this? What can I talk about? Let's see. All right. So you're looking at a 9.8 typical, 122, and then a raw sales, $3.59. So, there you are in that spot of $100 for a 9.8. Just go out and get it. It's a cool book. It's a great cover. Look at all the characters on the front.
There's a ton of first appearances. But wait, there's more. There is a Canadian variant for this.
Say it ain't so.
Yeah, right there. And there's actually no sales data on that Canadian variant. You can tell because it's 75 cents. The regular cover is 60 cents. So you can find this in a Canadian variant, because you could always tell they're typically, 15, 20 cents more. So the regular cover is 60 cents. Canadian variant, 75 cents. And you know what's at the Lords? We love the Canadian price variants.
We definitely do.
It used to be poo-pooed on for European variants, but now even the 9 pence variants are because, I would say mainly because of the first appearance of Moon Knight, the Werewolf by Night 32. Everybody bought up the regular copies. They started pricing out the collectors. And so what people got when it got the 9 pence variant. So the Canadian price variants, although, have always been more sought out for, because, they look pretty much like the US version, and the print run was much lower for the Canadian variants than they were for the US variants. So there you go. And this is a ton of first appearance on here. I think isn't Atom Smasher on we talked about this before. No, that's Commander Steel. Never mind. I was thinking about that goofy dude on Legends of Tomorrow. But what's next, Ryan?
Next up, the Scarecrow. But this book that we chose is interesting because it's not the one a lot of people would think of.
All right, so the Scarecrow is that what we're going to talk about?
Is that me or you?
That's you, buddy. That's you, partner.
Oh, okay, my bad. I was like, hey, because I had to add in the Canadian variant. Yeah, so obviously I could have picked the Golden Age version, but who's going to buy the Golden Age version? But if you actually go onto DC's website, this is the first appearance of the Jonathan Crane version of Scarecrow, which is the post-crisis version. This is Detective Comics number 571, written by Mike Barr. And look at that, Alan Davis. I didn't know Alan Davis did many DC comics. You know, obviously Alan Davis, I really got became a fan of Alan Davis when he started doing Excalibur in the late or early 90s, late 80s, I want to say. And I really dug his art. So I was kind of, it's interesting to find out that Alan Davis actually worked on Detective Comics. I did not know that. So obviously, you know, we could put two and two together. This is going to be for Batman. It's one of Batman's rogues. But like I said, the Golden Age, the Silver Age, whatever version of Scarecrow are pretty pricey. But this book is pretty cool. And this is actually noted as the first appearance of the Scarecrow. So Detective Comics number 571. I mean, you know, it's on their DC website. So if you get it graded, make sure that they note that is the first modern appearance of the Scarecrow. And don't even know if many people know that, but look at that. You can get it for like $11. The highest known value was from May 6th of 2018 for $11.50, man. 83 recorded sales. The last trend, plus 8% from March 26, 2020. So like I said, you know, people buy up the, Golden Age, the Silver Age, their first cover appearance. This is cool because this is the more modern taking of the post-crisis Scarecrow. So I think this book has room for everybody's pockets right now. But, when we're trying to sift through this information, we're saying, what would be a cool book to get that, that's not going to break the bank? Right here. First appearance of the Scarecrow in, what is that? Copper Age? Yeah, it's Copper Age, right?
Copper, yeah. 75-cent book, yeah.
So, there you go, boys and girls. You learn a little something every day. So this definitely looks like it's going to head something for the Batman franchise. So if you don't know, Matt Reeves is planning 3 films. So we already got the Penguin and some other. Who else is in the first film? They know it's the Penguin, Catwoman so far, right? Do we have another villain?
Riddler.
Yeah, Riddler and Penguin. So there you go. Eventually, they're going to use all the rogues galleries, but Scarecrow is definitely up there. Yeah, I thought he was pretty cool in the Nolan versions too.
He was like very good in it. Yep,
the closest to the comic book villains of all the Nolan ones that he did. Right, the Joker was cool, but he wasn't close to the comic book at all. Bane, whatever, asthmatic. Bane would not survive the coronavirus. He has definitely got upper respiratory issues.
Well, no, he was smart though. He always wore a mask. He wanted to shut down the city, so Bane was right.
Why did they make Talia a soccer mom, like an old woman? That's weird. Very weird.
Yeah, I don't know that.
Yeah, so there you go, man. I think that's a cool book to have. I think it's a dope cover.
It's a sweet cover.
It looks older. It's a throwback. It doesn't look like a Copper Age cover. It almost looks like an homage. Like he's like, hey, I'm gonna do some Neil Adams shit that Neil Adams do it from a Golden Age book, and Alan Davis did his own tech on this. All right, what is number 1 on the list, Ryan?
Well, you're skipping that number 2.
Yeah, we're skipping number 2. I got it. Don't worry. It's Forever People number 1. We got it.
I already talked about it. So
we
basically,
talked about it enough.
Like I said, it's like Forever People is Forever People is all over this list. That's why I was like, you know what? Go out and get Forever People because we're getting strong hints that there's a Forever People movie coming. That's what it is.
6. It is 6 first appearances. I want you guys to know, okay, or 5. It's Beautiful Dreamer, Big Bear, Mark Moonrider, Seraphim, and Valken the Black. So you are getting, and then you've got Infinity Man as a supporting character. So you are getting.
You think they'll be in the New Gods? Do you think?
They could do whatever. It's great. I don't know. They could do quite a few.
I'm just saying she's already working on it. Anna DuVernay is already working on it, and they can spin it out to a cameo in the cosmic side of stuff. So it'd be curious to see. I mean, this is one of those things that nobody will ever know about. Nobody will ever care. The only reason they bought Forever People in the past was because of Dark Side.
Dark Side, right? Agreed.
Nobody cared about
maybe
Forever People.
Well, some Kirby purists out there might have. Who knows? But anyway,
yeah.
I digress.
What's
number one on the list is the Swamp Thing. However, it's the first appearance of Alec Holland Swamp Thing. That's Swamp Thing number 1.
Now, what's up with that? Why is that not it? And then, or instead of House of Secrets, Tim, can you tell us?
Because this is actually the first credited appearance of Alec Holland. I don't think he's named in House of Secrets 92.
It's not Alec Holland in 92.
Yeah, so and House of Secrets, and this is also the origin of Swamp Thing, and it's also cheaper. I mean, House of Secrets 92 is super expensive right now, but this is a great book. I mean, you got Len Wein, Bernie Wrightson, both have already passed away. So this is one of the best comics. I mean, Bernie Wrightson is known for writing the ultimate horror. He's the horror artist purist, right? Everybody who wrote or drew horror books aspired to be Bernie Wrightson, especially, once the Copper Age came around, everybody wanted to be Bernie Wrightson. This is, of course, the Len Wein and the remember we talked about Swamp Thing and Man Thing and how they were kind of toe and toe with each other and how they both came out. Now, this is interesting because when I saw this on the list, I go, this is interesting to me because people have been clamoring for Swamp Thing to come back to DC Universe, and it's not. It may come on HBO Max, but it's never coming back to DC Universe. It was too expensive for them to make for DC Universe. DC Universe doesn't have enough of a budget to do Swamp Thing correct. HBO Max could definitely do it, but this is also a member of the Justice League Dark Team.
No.
And a very powerful member of the Justice League Dark Team. Hell, even in the current iteration of the Justice League Dark, he's in that as well. So this leads me two ways: that Swamp Thing could come as a solo film, which I doubt, but as a team member on the Justice League Dark movie, and we're seeing it. The breadcrumbs are being laid all over the ground for us with Zatanna, Deadman, Swamp Thing, and some other characters. So right now we're looking at a Justice League Dark movie and a Forever People movie. That's basically what it is. But
yeah, right.
I mean, that's why I'm saying this is part 2. Go back to last Wednesday and look at part 1. You know what? While you guys are talking, I'll link to it here. But I'll bring up the sales data, and you guys can talk about the sales data while I go put the link to part 1 in the live chat. I'll be curious to see, has this book spiked at all? Good Lord have mercy.
Good Lord, look at that. So the highest known graded comic was a 9.8, and you're looking at $4,155, and then that's the average. And then you got the 9.6. You've got 3 of them graded at $1,174. Then you go down to the average at 500 for 9.4. 9.2 is 381, and then 9.0 is 300. And then 8.5, you're looking at, there's 28 graded copies we've got for 247 with a high sale of 495. So it's definitely seen its fluctuation. I don't know if it's based on the DC show or not, but for me, in my opinion, I'd be into this book for somewhere around like 8.5, 9.0. What do you think about that, Ryan? Where would you go after this book at?
With this book, I would probably go 9.0 tops, 9.2, 9.0.
Yeah.
8.5, 8.0. No lower than a 7.5, I think.
Yeah, I mean 9.8 right there, $4,100. I mean, this is hard to find a 9.8 too. So 4,000. And this book peaked right before Swamp Thing came out. I mean, there was a lot of people buying this book up. House of Secrets, if you had it, you already have it. It's it's only for high end ballers. But this book was really picking up because everybody who couldn't afford House of Secrets 92 was getting this book. And that's why the sales data is there. And it kind of flattened out after the debacle with DC Universe, where, they told everybody that they weren't coming back, and all the actors started leaking it on social media. And people had an idea. Yeah. And that's why it didn't even complete its run. It was like, it was like, it just ended. It didn't end correctly. They didn't get to kind of complete the whole arc. And it was probably, I think, the best show on DC Universe. Titans is okay, but I think the budgetary restraints really show on Titans. And that's the only thing about it, and saying fuck just for fuck's sake is also, there's no reason to throw the fucks in there. You know what I mean? It seems misplaced for a Titans movie.
Right. I agree.
You know what I mean? It doesn't, it's like, here, I don't want to understand.
They were trying to be edgy, and it showed.
But don't be edgy when you have something called "Go Teen Titans Go." Is what I'm saying. You're killing your own marketing efforts. Right? They did the same thing with the Harlequin movie. Harlequin started in a cartoon. There's an animated series that's for adults, but then they made the movie.
Oh, the animated series is great.
Made a movie rated R when it really could have been PG-13. It probably would have had better box office. You know what I mean? But Swamp Thing was it was this horror, and it deserved the rated R it got on DC Universe or whatever rating it is, because it was pretty dark. I mean, and it was very, very, very steeped in its horror roots, which I really appreciated.
Very swampy. It was definitely very swampy.
And you could tell the budget is much better on Swamp Thing than it is on Titans. That's why Titans is continuing on right now. It's good, but man, the first time Trigon came on the screen in Titans, that was brutal, boy. I was gonna, oh man, I was like, so that's the list. Oh, look at that, I'm getting called from work.
Uh-oh.
All right, so we went over quite the list tonight, you guys, for the DC long-term spec list, and there was some good stuff on there. But you can see though, all of the great artists and the people that we talked about: Len Wein, Bernie Wrightson, Carmen Infantino, Jerry Ordway, Roy Thomas. I mean, these are legendary artists in the comic and writers in the comic book community who have brought these fantastic characters to life. And even if they don't make it to the big screen, they're at least worth your read right now. And what else are you doing right now? You might as well go out and get the stuff and read it, because you're not going to the movies, that's for sure.
One of the best, in my opinion, okay, my humble opinion, one of the best hands down story arcs ever written was the Saga of the Swamp Thing, the Alan Moore Swamp Thing run.
Oh yeah,
if you have not read that, it is a masterpiece. I mean, it was really, really, really well written. Very good story.
I have to agree with you on that. That was very enjoyable.
I mean, Alan Moore. I mean, there are some great stories. I mean, it's a tragic character, and I think the DC Universe show really did a good job of showing the tragic side of the character. So, but him being as a team member in a Justice League Dark movie. I mean, you got, like I said, me and Ryan always been huge fans of Justice League Dark, and in general, I love all the supernatural stuff
Mystical,
of Dr. Fate, Spectre, and all that good stuff. And who knows? Maybe we'll see Constantine on the next list, but it's almost like Constantine is almost too used now, And I still think they have the Keanu Reeves version, and then they got the version that's on the CW, and I think the CW version is probably gonna, and the animated version. I totally forgot about that. Is that show still on?
I don't know.
That's what he's done. Who watches CW Seed anymore?
No, I don't, unfortunately.
Exactly. But speaking of which, Stargirl or whatever the hell her name, that show is getting actually moved up, isn't it? That's coming out soon on CW.
That's coming up. There's a lot of movement on that, and then you've got your other shows, so we'll have to see what happens. It's an interesting time.
Yeah. All right, birds and girls, we'll hang out for you longer, but that's it, man. I mean, we'll let you guys go to your normally scheduled programming. I think the Comic Core is coming on at 7 p.m. and we'll be back at you next Tuesday for the Cover Price top 10 list.
Or if we get bored, maybe earlier. Who knows?
Yeah, Ryan still has a test Wirecast one of these days, so we're gonna pop up and do a live test.
If anybody knows how to optimize or defrag or clean up an iMac, DM me on Instagram. And
isn't there a tool for that? It built in, or you don't have to buy it?
No, everything I've been researching is talking about needing to buy some sort of software to do it, but I don't know. I'm an idiot.
It's a Mac now, so let's get face it.
But it's a Mac. I don't think they need those tools. I mean, even Windows, you don't need to defrag anymore. It does it for you automatically.
Yeah, I don't know.
Not unless you have a bunch of temporary internet.
I got plenty of time to figure it out. So.
That's right. We got nothing but time to research it. That's for sure.
Leave a comment in the video description once it posts what Ryan can do to optimize his mic,
or a link to a good video on YouTube or something. That
you got to be careful of any software.
That's my concern. That's my concern.
Video tutorials. Shout out to Captain Crunch for the $2 super chat. Appreciate it, brother. Everybody go check out Captain Crunch. And if you have any ideas for Ryan, we'll probably have to search it for him since he's not a good Google searcher. But never search for it on Google because it's going to link to you to some paid thing that end up putting.
And that's what I'm worried about. I definitely don't want a virus.
Well, you just need to search for what's your Mac operating system?
Shit.
It's named Safari or some shit.
No, I just updated it. So hold on. It is.
Just need to find out what your Mac OS version is, and then find out what's the
Catalina.
So
version 10.15.4.
How to optimize Catalina. I mean, I don't think they have Windows issues where you build up a bunch of temporary internet files and this and that, but that can be browser specific. And remember, Wirecast runs off a browser, so you may just need to optimize your browser, which is what, Opera or Safari?
I use Google Chrome.
Oh, well, actually, there's specific things for Google Chrome. You need to do that.
Okay.
So go just search and delete temporary inner files. That's what I do. Because put it this way, every time you go to a web page, we know what you visit. So it's going to cache up all the images and videos.
I
and
totally have some sort of virus.
Well, it's not
more than that, probably.
Yeah. You just
my
need to look.
Computer has the coronavirus.
Yeah.
Google Chrome, delete temporary internet files.
Okay.
You don't want to, temporary internet files and cache files. You don't want to delete the stuff you download, but just the temporary internet and cache files, and then you'll be good. You'll be surprised at how much you've built up because that's specific to the browser, not specific to Mac OS. So, all right, any last words, Otto?
Very much. Thank you guys for joining us tonight. Our show last night was very good too. So guys, for some reason, if you're not getting the notifications, please do that. And also for 3 Men in the Basement, make sure you're getting our notifications. We dropped a few videos this past week. Justin's dropping a big Star Wars video tomorrow about some books that he's been getting and some books that you guys should go after. So between Lords of the Long Box, 3 Men in the Basement, and even Very Gary, shout out to Very Gary, we've got content coming at you left and right. So we've got enough comic talk for everybody. So make sure you guys sub up, subscribe, comment, like to all of our channels because we're really having a great time with this. Unfortunately, in these troubling times, we're here to give you guys some comic book relief. So thank you very much. We're very blessed to be part of this community. So thank you very much for watching tonight.
And last words, Ryan.
No, I just piggyback off what Otto just said. Very well said, my friend. Thanks for joining us. Hit that like button. Unsubscribe and resubscribe if you're having trouble getting notifications. That's what we're finding is working. Other than that, thanks for hanging out. It was fun.
Yeah, I think YouTube is throttling live notifications specifically for live shows so they can free up feeds for breaking news. That's what I think is happening. Because I've seen notifications for videos that are pre-recorded and uploaded, but for live videos, I see
I get a notification for all of ours every time we've had one this week.
Yeah. So we will be back Tuesday with the cover price top 10. And then Wednesday, we're going to be dropping a Marvel long-term spec list. So this is from the Disney Plus side. We finally got some news from the folks over at Marvel. And I've been tagged by Comic Crypto Castle Hills for a top 50. I promise I'm going to do that. And there's another cool tag. I think Hella Comics Asian Funk Comics just did it. And it's like 25 questions, and it basically says, "Are you a comic nerd?" So I may do that. That sounds kind of interesting. Go check out Asian Fun Comics. He did one. It was very well done, man. Until next time, boys and girls, keep digging in them long boxes. Peace out.
Peace.
Bust it. Shake and bake and pull it back.
Oh my God.